How should you communicate with your avoidant ex after a breakup? This is what we will discuss today in this video, whether you want to get closure, whether you want to get back together. In this video, I will share the do's and the don'ts. I will share with you also the psychology of avoidance. I'm a former avoidant. I will explain how we function and what's the best way to communicate with them, especially in the context of a breakup. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, let's understand your avoidant ex, their psychology, the reason they got deactivated. That's how we call it in attachment theory. The idea that anxious people hyperactivate, avoidant people deactivate attachment, which is a natural response. And so for avoidant people, is the fear of intimacy, and that leads to withdrawing from the relationship, withdrawing from the person they were in a relationship with. And so it could look like they withdraw from conversation, they cancel plan, and they're going silent after a breakup. And I know it's very hard to deal with when you have had years of relationship with that person, where you know they loved you, where you know you had something special, and that person disappears from your life. The question you're asking yourself, obviously, is like, is it temporary? Will I hear from them? What should I do? And I think when we don't understand the psychology, when we act out of our impulse, this is when we make mistakes. It's very important to understand your partner if you want to make the right decisions. And that's why I'm making those videos, is to help you make decisions based on things that work, scientifically backed, and proven techniques and strategies if you want to deal with someone avoidant. So right now it's important to establish and respect boundaries, your boundaries and their boundaries. So right now, an avoidant, the boundary is like, I need space. Very often, most cases of my clients is that person, your ex, needed space. The relationship was too much. There was so many things for them to handle, and they felt they needed to remove the relationship from their life. It's not about you, it's about the relationship. So give them that space. This is what they asked for, give it to them. You don't want to give it to them. It's normal because you love them, because you have feelings for them, because you know there's a possibility to rekindle the relationship, to work things out. But right now, what they want is to be on their own, is to reflect. This is how avoidance deals with problem. I deal it with myself. If I have a problem as an avoidant, the default position is, okay, let me sort it out myself. Let me go in my room. Let me go somewhere. Let's isolate myself and think about this on my own. When it comes to you, it's important, so first to understand that dynamic on your partner's side, but also from your side. It's important for you to accept that right now it's not the time to reach out to get them to react. This is why it's important for you to start a phase of no contact and unfollow your partner from social media. The reason I suggest this is because I know there's always a temptation of knowing, reading the signs, making sense of the situation, trying to figure out when they're ready or not. The problem with social media is that it's not an accurate reflection of the reality. What we post on social media are obviously the best of what's going on in our life. And so that won't reflect necessarily the state of mind of your avoidant partner. Usually avoidant partner won't be the ones sharing posts and emotional quotes on Instagram because they feel sad. They will keep it to themselves and they will push other type of content that will make them feel great or like they're winning the breakup. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you've probably tried to talk your ex out of this breakup. You've probably watched his stories or her post on Instagram. It's not working. This is why it's important to have this phase of no contact, to establish those boundaries. This is the first step if you want to heal, and also if you want to create the right framework, the right structure, because communication with an avoidant, it's not so much about, and we'll come to that in a second, it's not so much about the words, but it's more about the settings. It's more about the perception, the environment. And this is why it's important to create this environment first. So that's the first step. And as I said, perception is more important than words. Let me share with you a story from a client that I had recently. She's kind of long distance with her ex, and she wanted to tell him that she would be traveling to his town for a week. And so the idea, what I suggested her, and rather than having and entertaining a long conversation with him, it's more about like, okay, I'll be here. I have other things to do. I need to see my friends. And if you want to see me, you know that I'll be around. And so the ball is in your court. You have to make a decision. And asking those kind of messages it's not overly complex. It's not about finding the right message. It's not about finding the long letter. The thing is, she was so fixated on the result. If he didn't answer, because he didn't answer before she left, if he didn't answer, if he doesn't do anything, that means I might have said something wrong, right? You know deep inside that what you've sent or the message that you send is not wrong. And so what she did, I can't blame her for that. She called another coach who told her to actually message him before she arrives in that city. But by doing that, she changed the whole environment of, I'm okay, I'm doing my own thing, and if you want to see me, to, okay, I want to get an answer right now. I'm pressuring you. That was not necessarily huge mistake, but the thing is, again, it's about the environment that you create. The result is that I think he replied, coming up with an excuse. The whole point that I was trying to make with her is always leave the ball in the courts of your partners. It's about letting them decide. Tell them, I'm independent. I don't need your help right now. It's just a question of seeing each other. Their case was a bit specific because it was a short relationship. But it's very important. The thing I want you to remember is not about the word or the timing. Understand that it needs to be simple. You've been together. You know each other very well. And it doesn't have to be complex. We make it complex because we are scared of rejection. We are scared that we are not good enough or that we don't have the right set of, the right tone or the right words. And by the way, remember that silence is a form of communication. It's actually I would say, most important form of communication when you deal with an avoidant. When you're an anxious person, silence is a form of rejection. I want to discuss with you, you reject me, you're stonewalling me. When you're silent with me, as an avoidant, that won't affect me. And in the context of a breakup, I will actually like it. Not in the sense that I want you to get outside of my life, I want to get rid of you. It's just like, that's what I need. That's how I deal with stuff. So it's important before you figure out whether you should get back together or whether there's a chance, etc. Be sure that the reason you guys broke up is, and I forgot to mention that, is the result of the anxious avoidant trap. Because the problem is, sometimes people are simply not interested. And it's very hard to get back with someone who's not interested in you. And in a way, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's not interested in you. So assess, first of all, whether that person, it's a question of interest or it's a question of attachment. If you're not sure, there's a quiz in the description to assess if you have any chance of getting back with your ex, and it's totally free. But at least you gain a bit of clarity. I know people watching my videos, they're a bit, in the dark, or don't know what to do, what to say. And also assess their chances, whether, what they are doing, there's any, again, it's not a question of words, it's not a question of tone. Assess first whether there's potential. Now, what we hate, avoidant, is we hate talking on the phone. Let me know in the comment section if that's the case for your ex or your partner. And the problem is, because you have to start talking with them, because you have to start writing them messages, we feel that it's about how can we build intimacy through conversation. No. You have to start there, but that's not how you build up intimacy with an avoidant, because an avoidant will feel like, I don't have anything to say to her or to him. I don't know. I don't know how to lead the conversation. What we like to do, and what your ex probably loved doing with you, was not talking. It was doing stuff together, sharing moments together. And the whole point of the conversation is to get to that point. And so I have people calling me and they tell me like, hey, we've been in touch, texting each other for 6 months. What's the point? When you do that, you, in a way, create the wrong environment where they feel like, oh, it's kind of exhausting because I depend on her, he depends on me. And we don't get any sort of the benefit in a way of the relationship, because for an avoidant, the benefit is not the emotional connection necessarily. And if it does, it's not by text that you get it. It's by doing things together. So it's very important. You need to start somewhere, but don't assume that it's, if I speak with them long enough, they will open up. No. You speak with them long enough to get to see them. That's the whole point. I've never had, in my years of practice, never had people getting back together just by text. That doesn't work like this. The text is just like assessing, and we'll come to that in a second. Assessing where they are, because you need to start somewhere and see them. And the first date, you won't get back together on the first date. It's just the first point, and it's just about growing from there. And yes, you can reach out. If your partner is an avoidant, you can reach out. It's not because that an avoidant that you should expect them to reach out, or that there's a rule, never ever reach out to avoidant people. You have, however, to respect a long period of no contact, 30 days at least. The number of days, there's no rule. I mean, I don't have a rule, and I don't think there should be a rule. The 30 days is usually after a month. People tend to resent less. They went through that phase of release after the breakup. And this is where things start to settle a little bit. It could be more. It depends on the length of the relationship mostly, and the dynamic and the breakup. The point of reaching out here, and this is maybe the most important part of this video, so listen carefully. As I said, it's not about the words, it's not about the tone. The reaching out shouldn't be a message to prove them something. The idea is just to show them that if they reach out, you won't reject them. There's an assumption that avoidant, they don't care, and they're not scared of rejection. We are equally scared of rejection than anyone else, and we could be very sensitive. And so the thing is, it's really to say them, okay, I'm here, don't bite, and we can have a conversation, and I'm not here to try to prove you anything. Before you reach out, and this is also very important, make sure that you're ready. And this is why I think the 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, it really depends on you. You need to have done some work, and we'll discuss that at the end of this video. If you're not ready and you reach out too soon, the problem that not be about them, but might be about you, because they might respond positively. You might start, seeing each other. The problem is, maybe if you have an anxious attachment style, you will still have the same triggers, the same patterns. You will still behave the same way. And you'll create the same conditions for the relationship not to work. In other words, you won't get back with your ex, or you won't be able to build a sustainable relationship with your ex if things remain the same. So there's an element of change, and there's an element as well of having really processed the breakup. Because this breakup, this relationship is over. What you're trying to do is to start another one. And we don't know whether it's going to work out or not. I can tell you whether you have no chance. Take the quiz and you'll see clearly whether, if there's no chance, give up. But when there's potential, there's always a lot of uncertainty. And so be sure that when you make the decision to break no contact, you're ready emotionally. You can regulate your emotion. You're not going to be spamming them and sort of harassing them, because you're going to make it worse. It's very important, and that's why you have to respect a phase of no contact for them, but also in terms of healing on your side. So the do's and the don'ts of breaking no contact. The do's is make it short, not too sweet, short. Ask open-ended questions if you can. So it leaves them the opportunity to say whatever they want. Keep it very light. Talk about the present and the future, what you're doing, if you have any projects. And again, it's not about pitching. So the don'ts, don't pitch them the relationship. Don't pitch them your life. Don't be a salesperson. The whole point is to really I'm here, I'm alive, let's see each other, type of thing. Don't assume that if they get back to you, if they reply to this message, that will be a game changer. Okay, we're back together. And the same, if they don't reply right away, that doesn't mean that you're dead to them. Sometimes could be taking up to a week for people to reply when he or she feels ready. And then it's about how you navigate that space, how you sort of convince them that there's another avenue, an alternative relationship with you. Don't assume that you'll get all the answers. Very often people reach out and they want to get, they don't necessarily want to get back with their ex, but they want to reach out to them. They want to communicate with them to have answers. Why are you doing that? Why? When? What happened? What did I do? You will not get those answers right away. And you may never get those answers. So it's very important as well to do the work and accept that some of these questions will be unanswered. And obviously never, ever, 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 ever mention the breakup. You're looking forward. What's behind needs to be left behind. I know it makes sense and people want to say like, something was broken, we need to repair it, we need to discuss about it. That's an anxious attachment logic. An avoidant is like, okay, what can we do now? How can I enjoy being with you now? We'll discuss about the future afterwards. The recovery phase is about like creating that safe environment, safe space. You won't be invading my space. You will respect my autonomy. You will respect my need to be on my own and to do my own things, for example. And while you create that space, then you progress and make sure that they also can meet your needs and find that place where you can be both happy. Maybe this place doesn't exist and you have to therefore end the relationship this time or realize that it's not for you, but you have to start from their point of view. Unfortunately, there's no other way around. I've listed few examples if you need examples of text. So I met George and we spoke about you. He told me you're doing great. Again, it's very much kind of an excuse to reach out. Again, the idea is not to pretend that you have a social life that you don't have. I mean, if you bounce into, a common friend, a mutual friend, reach out and say, oh, I've seen him and that, and we've done that. We had fun. Hope you're okay. I saw that you've done something on social media, so I said don't follow them, but maybe you follow them on LinkedIn. Congrats, that's awesome. Again, it's about being positive. We are looking about something that they've done, they've achieved, and sort of embracing that. I'm not talking about the breakup, I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about you, shedding the light on them. Another one, if you have no updates or if you don't have any if you don't meet any of their friends, just wanted to say, I hope you're doing well. Honestly, that's enough. And happy birthday. So there's a lot of debate online about happy birthday. I think it's okay after a long phase of no contact. So if you guys broke up and 2 weeks after there is his birthday or her birthday coming up, don't wish them happy birthday. However, if enough time has passed, I think it's a great idea to break no contact. Because the problem is if you don't, and you reach out, let's say a week or 2 weeks after, they kind of know, well, that was my birthday 2 weeks ago. You never it's a bit of a risky one. I know some people, they're very fixated. I don't care if you wish me happy birthday or not. But some people are very fixated. And that could be perceived as a rejection. So be aware of that. It depends on cases. I don't think it's bad necessarily to wish happy birthday if you guys broke up 1 or 2 months before that. As I said, I don't think it matters. If you need, because I wanted to do that, but I don't think it's helpful. But if you need a document listing all the text, all the strategies that you could use, that I use with my clients on WhatsApp. The thing is with my WhatsApp clients is that it's very much tailored to their situation. And in a way, even when I sort of draft something, they have to make it them, with their tone and the history and the private jokes, etc. But if you're interested in a document like that, let me know in the comment section and I'll have a look. If I have 10 comments asking me for that, I will create it and I will put it in the description. This is the Schrödinger cat, and this sort of experiment or thought experiment is to explain quantum physics, but also relationships. And in quantum physics, something exists when you see it. And so this experiment or this thing is about, we have a cat with a deadly product and we put both at the same time. We don't know when we're gonna activate the deadly product, and the only way for us to see if the cat is alive or dead is to open the box. And so this cat, until you open the box, is dead and alive at the same time. This is exactly your situation right now. Your relationship is dead and alive. There's no other way for you to know if there's potential unless you have any news from your ex, unless you reach out, unless you confront yourself with the situation. And so, yes, that's a journey into the unknown. I cannot predict their reactions. As you know, I do a lot of discovery calls and people ask me, I make assumptions. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm very, I know I'm right, but it's very hard to predict people's reaction. What you can do, the only thing you could do is to, as I said, ensure that you have the right condition, you create the right environment, because this is what you can control. If your partner, despite your effort, despite your environment, doesn't want a relationship, this is not your role, and you don't want to be in a relationship with someone you need to force to be in a relationship with. The only thing you can control is for you to do the work and to check on their end if they are doing the work, if things have changed, if they're making an evolution in their life. So what does it mean to do the work? Inner child work, understand the root cause of these insecurities. Work out with a series of affirmations to reprogram cognitively those triggers and response. Somatic practice, figuring out how your body, it's something that I do with my clients, how you understand how your body can inform some of your triggers and reaction. Keeping a journal, doing CBT, talking therapy, finding friends, people who can talk to about your journey, and learning about communication, effective communication, non-violent communication, because we all need to learn this. It's not something you learn at school, and people are usually quite bad when it comes to communicating. You need first to be more secure, and then as you learn to be more assertive, use effective communication. And these are the things we do in our next coaching program that we will be launching in a few days. If you want any details on this, there's a link in the description. Let me know as well in the comment section if you have any question on this program. The whole point is to do all of these things in a group setting, in a very nurturing, private, confidential setting with Elizabeth and myself, where you would do this work, because very often people don't understand, okay, I broke up with this partner, I have no other option than doing the work, but where do I start? What do I do? And it's very hard to do it on your own. I wasn't able to do it on my own. Most people are not able to do it on your own, and that's not a big deal. It's just a question of finding the right setting, finding the right support system to help you achieve your goals and be more secure. And then once you have the right environment, you're all set for success. And the outcome of whether you're going to get back together or not depends on your ex. It's not about you in this case, it's about them.